Hello and welcome to another wonderful day on Oweleketv. It is, of course, a Thursday and we are here to bring you to speed with the headlines for today. We want to begin with the Vanguard newspaper, but before then, I'd like us to know that it is necessary to always stay on this channel so that you will be informed, entertained, and of course educated. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and joining me on the review this morning is Michael and, of course, Sadat Mohammed, King Sir.
Good morning, Mr. Ramsey.
Good morning. Anytime
Good morning,
I see
Michael.
you.
Good morning, Sadatu.
If Sadat is with me on the show, the first thing that comes to my mind is when a woman is a king, then the man will be Lolo.
I forgot to remind her she is outnumbered this morning.
She's been outnumbered, of course. All right, this is the newspaper review for this wonderful day, beginning from the Vanguard newspaper. At the top of the headlines is a big story which says that we will regulate price of imported foodstuff. The federal government is saying that, indeed, is read on page 5. Then above the header, oil marketers short stations in Lagos as panic buying continues. Details read on page 20. I said something on this program. I said, well, this buying could be as a result of panic buying. What did I hear? Speculations, all right, made the queues to mount gradually. And we had a very long queue as at yesterday, not just in FCT, but in other parts of Nigeria too. And this morning we are hearing that oil marketers shut stations in Lagos State as panic buying continues. Then this one says the FCC witness admit Emefele's wife not beneficiary of CBN contract. Details read on page 8. A minimum wage, that's the kicker. Tinubu meets organized labor today. That's page 5, man. I think this just, I don't know.
That
how many of you?
How many for so long?
And there is something we call last fight.
Last fight, yeah.
In movies, those days. Is it India film?
It's
India film those days. We say last fight when you begin to hear gang gang.
Action movie.
Gang,
The
gang.
actor.
You see what will happen? The actor and the boss. I don't know who is the boss. I don't know who is the actor. But then it's going to be happening today. And we will get to know what's going to be the end of it all. Then finally, from the Vanguard newspaper, SARS protest, that's the kicker. Ecowas court finds federal government guilty of rights violation. Details read on page 4. And that's going to be the size of the headlines from the Vanguard newspaper this morning as I hand you over to Michael.
Thank you, Ramsey. Thank you, Ramsey. We'll move straight to the Punch newspaper today. Above the header, Labour meets Tinubu insists on 250,000 naira minimum wage. Details on page 28. Local government funds, that's the kicker. Supreme Court decides federal government suit against governors today. Details on page 28. Reps panel quizzes minister alleges 1.5 billion diversion. Details on page 14. Now, let's move away from that. Ex-Accountant General begs for time to refund looted funds. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. The impunity at which these guys, once they are elected into offices, everybody wants to loot.
I saw that paper and I was
my
like,
turn.
I saw that paper and I was like, did he beg before he embezzled the money?
No, he didn't.
Why beg him to pay back?
He did that with his
I think
conscience.
one thing, let me say this before you continue. One thing that I must give to this administration is the fact that they are going after people that have looted in the past. We're not saying anyone, we're not saying anyone is a saint here, you know. But then the fact that this administration is picking out people that have embezzled, even people in the present administration, the humanitarian ministers,
yeah.
Betu and the one before her, you know.
So it doesn't matter what party, it doesn't matter what party that you
it doesn't matter.
As long as
across the party, you know, I think this is a good one. Continuity will make it better and it will make it good. So don't beg. Don't beg. Just pay.
Absolutely.
Refund.
That's it. That's it.
Or don't steal.
Or don't do it at all.
Yes.
All right, details on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. Away from that, the big story today, federal government projects massive food price crash January. Two writers to that story. New measures will address high food costs, says Agriculture Minister. Imported food commodities will be subjected to recommended retail price that is coming from the federal government. Details on page 2. And then the last story I'll take on the Punch this morning. Tinubu swears in 8 permanent secretaries. Let's see if they
But, see, that means the Sanyare report is not holding water, because we're talking about even slashing ministries and agencies that they are merged. But the permanent secretaries are not going into different ministries. It's not a creation of ministry. But then I think it's still. Let's see. Yeah, it's a regular appointment. It's not a multiplication of agencies. So that's good.
Absolutely,
that's good. You saw me smiling when you talked about the federal government saying there's going to be food slash or food price crash in January. It's a long time. It's a long time.
Has been there. Food crash here. Food crash.
Sadatu is a long
I
time.
like stories. I love actions.
But it's a long time. Which month is this?
Well,
This is July.
There's going to be food crash. They're going to do with all those vendors that hodls food items and all those stuff. We're still here.
Yeah, the
Food
hoarding
prices
thing. I think
going up and
I
up
remember,
and
but
up and up.
They even tackled the producers of consumables yesterday. We discussed how the government talked about those who are in charge of our consumables, not cosmetics. Talking about those who are making up, those who produce food.
Don't go
food.
there.
No, makeup. Leave makeup for women.
makeup,
Leave makeup for women.
Okay.
Makeup is also very expensive, and the money that we're supposed to use for food, you guys are diverting it into makeup.
Into the cosmetics
So
industry.
I beg, Muna, consider us. All right.
All right. Do well to pick a copy of the Punch newspaper today and get interesting stories. Over to you, Sidatu.
Thank you, Michael. Let's take a look at the Nation newspaper this morning. And the first headline says, History as Olubadan gets new palace. Detail reach on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And then the next story says, Ex-Power Minister Mamman faced 33 billion naira fraud charge. Detail reach on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And then the big story says federal government kicks off food security emergency plan. And then there are 2 riders to that story. Framework ready within 2 weeks. Rice Farmer Express worries. That's the size of the Nation newspaper. Do well to get a copy and go through for more details.
That's right. Thank you very much, Sadatu, for that.
Did you hear that story?
Rice farmers.
I'm particularly interested in food because how can you tell the citizenry to endure hunger till January? They're gonna die.
Who on earth endures hunger? Who on earth endures? No, the federal government is trying. The federal government is trying.
7 months
But
fasting.
then we need proactiveness. Something has gone wrong already.
Okay.
We are doing damage control already. Yesterday Bright was hammering on the federal government's ability, their proactiveness, that it is the Senate and the reps that were coming late and all of that. But then we need to see these things on the table.
Absolutely.
He's not wrong
Like all the
in totality. But then what
policies
we're
are just
saying
throwing us
is,
back and back
that's
and
what
back.
it is. It just seems like Tinubu government kick started. There were things that are actually going well, but then other things that concerns the average man. He mentioned let the poor breed, but then it seems like the poor have been targeted to be suffocating.
And we heard that he shuts all doors to all ministers and every other personalities. He doesn't want to hear anything.
he doesn't want to hear anything from them. That's a grapevine. It's not confirmed. It's a grapevine. It's rumor. It's not confirmed because I know meetings must be going on.
If that happens to be true, what do you think is going on?
Well, I think there's no way the president would just want to be on his own because the legislator,
Probably is thinking
the
of the way
executive, and the
forward.
judiciary must have to work together. All right, to the Guardian newspaper, which is going to be the last abuse violation of urban planning laws, breed homeless slum. Details read on page 6. There were some things that caught my fancy from the picture story where it says Enugu, Anambra, Lagos, Abuja, and Kano have witnessed property demolition worth 100 billion naira in the last 1.5 years. All right, that is demolition in these states. Well, let's see how that's gonna go. Then more still coming about the NSARS. The kicker says NSARS. Then the story says Ecowas court finds federal government guilty. Details read on page 4. Then this one says 16 states failed to assess 45.7 billion naira UBEC funds. Details read on page 5. Supreme Court delivers judgment on local government authority autonomy today. Then this story also caught my fancy. Well, it's of interest to me. I saw it and I was interested in it. I'm going to take it, and that's going to be the last. It says, governors panic as Tinubu meets labor over minimum wage. The panic, you already know what's all about. They were actually begging that no matter what they do, the capacity of all the states
are not the same,
It's not the same. If the federal government can pay, what about the states? And they were begging that each state should decide what their minimum wage would be, but that is going to be disastrous if they leave it to the states. So whatever the federal government is going to be accepting, it should be something that the state can also afford, and labor should be actually considered, because even the minimum wage, if they are being paid, it cannot even maybe sustain the worker. This sustainability is what we're talking about. Thank you very much, Sadatu. Thank you, Michael. Awesome. I think we need to go on a quick break. I'm not thinking. All right. We are going on a quick break. After the break, we'll return back, and it's going to be time for the big story. It's actually big. You remember what happened during the SARS? We will look at that, and I'm looking at the judgment coming from Ecowas. My name is Ramsey. We'll return after the break.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleketv. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back. It's been a very wonderful time on Outnumbered, and of course the big story is really big, and we're taking it up immediately. It's something that Nigerians cannot forget in a hurry. You know why? Because it is something that Nigerians actually clamored for. You know what? The SARS story. Oh my God. I don't want to think about it. That was one night that I didn't sleep until, in fact, I was following it. I think kudos to one of the media houses, our colleagues that were up and doing to make sure they cover the details of the SARS protest. Now, Ecowas is coming out to fault the federal government. So many things were done. Panel was being set up to look into the SARS situation, but up till now, we've not had anything that anyone was brought to book. Has SARS ended? That's the big question. Or something else is going on. Okay. But then I think the good news is that ECOWAS is actually faulting the federal government for violation of rights. But then something is actually of interest to me. Two persons, of course, actually are the ones getting this judgment, all right, to be compensated with 2 million naira. Then the question that came to my mind is, what about the others? Three persons, right? What about the people that lost their lives? Okay, I don't know. So let's just talk about it. What do you feel about it? What do you feel about it?
I think it would be right if everyone is. It's not going to be possible for everyone to be compensated, but I think they could do something better instead of just, okay, let's say these 3 people were actually the ones that took the matter to the court.
Yeah.
So they got their own judgment. So if any other person feel they need their own judgment, they need to be compensated, they should take the matter to court.
Yeah, I think that's true because, Michael,
if you are affected in one way or the other, just
go to court.
Yeah,
like this administration would say, if you're not satisfied, go to court. Yes. But then, looking at the whole SARS thing, Sadatu, before I move to Michael, looking at the whole SARS thing, now the federal government is being faulted by ECOWAS. All right. Is this coming timely? Or it's late, but though justice delay is not justice denied. So as it is right now, okay, well, can you say ECOWAS have done a good job? Because this is something a court in Nigeria couldn't do. Okay. Panel was being set up, they couldn't do it. So what would you have to say to ECOWAS? Remember who the chairman of ECOWAS is? You know who he is?
I don't know.
Your president, of course.
Oh, our president.
He even got a second tenure.
Yeah, he got a second tenure.
Wow. Then the justice has taken place. There's nothing to say more about it. So if there's anyone, like I said, that needs anything to be done, lay your complaint.
Oh, okay, Michael, let me get to you now. As it is right now, you know what NSAS was all about, the brutality, okay, coming from...
I did a song about it. I know what it is.
Oh, you did a song about it? Okay, in case you don't know, Michael is a rapper. You rapped?
Yeah, I did a song about it, actually, because I was particularly not in the field, but I followed everything because Catherine O'Day, DJ Switch, is someone that I love so much. I met her way back in Lagos. She's this very spontaneous DJ, this jockey, female.
DJ
but then,
Switch?
Yeah,
DJ
that's
Switch was at the
O'Day.
middle.
Yeah,
She was at the middle of the incident, of the whole thing.
If you follow that Instagram, her Instagram got international acclaim because she gave Nigeria the forefront. So her Instagram blew up international.
Then Kupi took it up.
Absolutely, international body started coming on. It was actually DJ Switch that everybody was tuning to, not
even
to
media
the
houses,
not even the media houses. Everybody was on the
DJ Switch
page, so she got the acclaim. She got she was getting constant support from the big men who are saying you're doing well, send your account for data. She was constantly, remember, all the numbers of most of our leaders got reviewed at that time. So October 2020 is a day. We got unanimous dissemination of all the numbers. Most people got numbers of Lai Mohammed, senators. The numbers were flying everywhere. Who did that? Yes. So Nigeria is a community that is very, very sophisticated in terms of technology. When something happens and the youth are saying we one voice want to say this tackle, you see it happening. Now the protest at Lekki Toll Gate was something that meant a lot to me because I had friends who were there, who were entertainers and all that. They were at the forefront, and I was getting direct videos even to post on my own page, on my own listen. And then if they are at the toll gate and the Ecowas is saying federal government has violated the
rights.
Yeah, the right according to
the protesters.
Yeah, according to African Charter on Human and People's Rights, section 1, 4, 6, 9, 10, and 11. It was specified. That means those people should be paid out.
The sections are even much.
Oh my goodness. You can imagine how I crammed it, But then, if you have to pay them 2 million ransom, what happens to those that lost their lives? Those whose lives were brutalized? We saw incidences where there was...
Well, I think these ones were just compensated because they took the case down there.
Now, if you have these sections of the law that prohibit dehumanization, infringement on fundamental human rights of the citizenry, protection, their right to live, their right to expression, and you go ahead and violate it, sir. Everybody that was brutalized should be called back and compensated. We have the money. But ECOWAS, shout out to Economic
Community of West African
States for doing that, because our own court, I think that case was swept under the carpet and it's coming right back. So shout out to them for actually doing that. I feel Kamsi, Adeyinka, and Catherine O'Day, the triple that would be compensated for holding on to even go and file another suit against the federal government
with ECOWAS. Meaning we won't be satisfied because even the soldiers that did this thing are Nigerian soldiers, and Nigeria is part of ECOWAS. So let's take it up. So I think that thought is good for me.
So how come the federal government is denying that there was no...
Don't talk as if you are not in Nigeria.
There was no defiance to rule.
Don't talk as if you are not in Nigeria. You know what's obtainable in our country?
The security agencies were acting according to instructions, no license.
So who gave the instruction? That's the question.
So the tear gas we saw, the gunshots we heard live on video, who shot those gunshots?
I think
with impunity.
The most important thing...
Are you looking for the answer right now?
Well, that is an answer you can't get. You can't get handy. Well, you know it. You know it, but it's something that you can't say handy. All right, you can't just say it. But as it is right now, we are already rounding up. If you want to talk about the NSAS, it's not something that you can finish talking about in just one show. So as it is right now, want to say kudos to ECOWAS and want to say congratulations to Catherine and of course her colleague. Yeah. But then I think this thing should be given a holistic approach. Justice delay is not justice denied. People lost their life. Some persons were actually rendered homeless. Some persons were haunted after this event, after this incident. I beg your pardon.
Well, sir, it did more good to Nigerians because the police,
yes, that you see. It has reduced. It has not stopped. It reduced. It has not stopped. Some things are still happening. You see how journalists are being whisked away. away and all of that. So
Absolutely.
it has not totally stopped. But then very soon, I think if this goes on, something good may come up. But then we want to say the federal government, since they've been found guilty, they should do the needful. 2 million is even small.
Yeah.
2 million is even small. I think Nigerians, you can actually come together and ask for what you want. We want to say, may the soul of everyone that lost their life during the SARS protest rest in perfect peace, and God give succor to the families that lost their loved ones. This is going to be the size of the big story on Outnumbered this morning. We will come on your way again, and that's going to be tomorrow for the TGIF edition of Outnumbered and the Big Story. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Have a wonderful day.